Bonjour, mes amis. My name is Danny Evans. I began learning French in the 10th grade, and at the end of that year, I had the incredible opportunity to live in France for several weeks. I fell in love with the French language and the people and culture of France, and I'm excited to take this journey with you. This is Parlons Francais. Bonjour, mes amis. Je m'appelle Danny et je suis votre professeur de français. Hi friends, it's me, Danny Evans, and I'm going to be your French teacher. As I said, I'm so excited to begin this journey with you. I love French. I love the French culture. I love France. Been there several times. I've actually been able to go over and tour France with my family and also with my students. It's a great language. I love it, and I'm really excited about this. Now, before we get started, I just want to go over a few things to get you in the right mindset of French. You may have heard somebody say that French is a difficult language to learn. Well, I want you to know that I disagree with that. French is not that difficult to learn. I'll tell you what might be a little bit challenging for us is the pronunciation in the beginning. We do use some different muscles and different parts of our mouths that we do in English. So it's a little bit of an adjustment when you start trying to pronounce French the correct way. But let me tell you, you can do it. It's just new territory. It's not difficult territory. I know you can do it. So what I want to do is spend some time at the beginning in this first episode today, just helping you understand the alphabet and also some of the ins and outs of where we pronounce things in French, in our mouths and in our throat, in the back of our mouths. It's just a little bit different. So let's get started. Let's start by looking at the French alphabet. Now, I'm going to go through the French alphabet with you a couple of times. And again, just a little bit of an adjustment period. I'm going to go slow this first time for you. And the letters are going to come up here on the screen as I'm pronouncing them, and you try to say them with me. We'll do this at least twice. The first time I'm going to go a little slow and explain things for you. All right, but here we go. Allons-y. That means let's go. All right, let's look at the first letter. I'll take these first few ones a little bit faster. First of all, we have A, which is A. That's not too difficult. A. And then B is B. Not too far off from English. B. And C is C. C. And then D, de. De. Now, let's talk about the E really quick. We're going to see the E in several different words today, and we're going to talk about this a few times just to kind of get it in our heads and get going with it. All right, so the E, we're going to kind of drop our mouths a little bit and say, So the E is not E or A, it's a little bit down here, it's Kind of push your lips forward a little bit and say All right, F, not too far off. F. Now, let's talk about the G. I want to mention the G and the J at the same time, because with the letter G, we have an E sound, and with the letter J, we have an A sound in English. I want you to kind of flip those in your mind, okay? So when we say the G, it's not going to be G, it's going to be je, so it sounds a little bit more like that J, okay? So the G is je. Now, we'll get to the J in just a second. I bet you can already guess what it sounds like. H. I'm going to go ahead and tell you H in French is mostly silent. And so when we say H, we're not going to go like we do in English. We're not going to breathe it. So I want you just to say this. Ash. That's the H. Ash. All right. Now for the I. The I is simply E. Okay, now we've arrived at J. Well, G was J, the J sound. The J has the E sound like the G. So it's J. All right. Now the K is simply Ka. Now the L is very close to English. Just say elle. Now the M and the N are very close to English as well. M is M, M, and the N is N, N. The O is simply O, O. P is P, P. Now, Q, before I tell you Q, I want to tell you that there's a little bit different sound that we have to do in French sometimes, and we'll be talking about this several times over the next several episodes. But when we make a Q sound in English, we kind of say Q. We kind of do that with our lips, and it kind of comes out like you, Q. What you want to do with French is you're going to find that there are some sounds that have a sound where you have to kind of go back here and say U, U. You have to kind of tighten your lips up, pull your tongue back just a little bit, and say U. And so the Q is going to be Q, Q. R. Now, the R is going to be new territory for us. But again, you can do it. Absolutely. You can do it. So the R is going to be, I want you to not think like the English where we have our tongue up here and we say R, I want you to move all the way back to the back of your throat, way back here, and I want you to say air, air. Breathe it back there. Just breathe in the back of your mouth. Air, air. All right. Now, at the beginning of the show, I said, Parlons Francais. Now, let's talk about that with this R really quick. Parlons is the first word in our show title. Put that R in the back. Don't say par, because that's English. And we're not operating with English rules, are we? We got to change our way of thinking. So push that R all the way back and say parlons. And now with the word French, we don't say Francais. Okay, leave your tongue away from up there and push it back here and say Francais, Francais. Parlons Francais. Push the R back. Okay, we'll talk about that more later. Let's go on. The S is S, S. And the T is te, te. And now the U. Remember what I told you a while ago when we did the Q? Say U, U. Kind of tighten your lips a little bit. Push it forward and say U. And now the V is just simply ve, ve. All right, now with W, we're going to say double V, because that's really what it looks like if we write it that way. So we're going to say double, which is double, and we're going to say W, W. And now for the X, change your first sound. Instead of E, it's E, and say X, X. And the Y. Now the Y, I want you to think of the letter I, which is E, and we're going to say the word Greek after it. Greek in French is grec. And so you're kind of saying the I Greek, the Greek I. So Y, everybody say Y, Y. And now for the final one, Z is simply said, said. Okay, let's back up and go over that again. I'm going to say the letter now, and I want you to say it after me, okay? Here we go. A, B, B, C, C, D, D, E, E, F, F, G, G, H, H, I, I, J, J, K, K, L, L, M, M, N, N, O, O, P, P. Remember to push this forward. Q. Q. Now in the back of our throats. R. R. S. S. T. T. And again, push this forward. U. U. V. V. W. W. X. X. Y. Y. And Z. Z. All right. Now, before we go on any further, I want to challenge you to go on YouTube and any websites out there that have instructional videos. And you can find all kinds of videos about the alphabet. You can find songs about the alphabet in French. You can hear native speakers. Really start listening to those. And those really help you tune in that pronunciation and fine-tune your pronunciation. It's great. I also want to encourage you, while we're talking about the internet, to investigate some sites that allow you to actually practice French. When I was able to spend several weeks in France after my 10th grade year of high school, one of the first things I did was tell my host family, please do not speak English with me. Well, the father of the family quickly told me that's okay because I don't speak any English whatsoever. And I kind of thought, hey, I'll have at least a little crutch, but I found out I don't. He spoke zero English. So I had to speak French. And let me tell you, it did wonders for me. I came back to 11th grade and my French teacher was wowed because I had been able to make so much progress. And you can do it too. You just got to practice. But there are websites out there where you can fill out a profile and your level of proficiency, and very beginner if you are, and you can be paired up with people in France and all over the world and speak via webcam with people. And I found these people to be so kind, so nice, and so helpful, and they want to practice their English too. So you could make a friend today in another country, and wow, you'll just be amazed at how much it helps you. All right, well, let's keep going. Now, we've gone over the alphabet. So I want to talk about some pronunciation in context. We've looked at it letter by letter. Now let's start breaking down those letters, putting them together in different contexts. So I want to put this word up to you. We see this word all the time. I know you've heard it. Bonjour. Bonjour. Good morning. Good day is what we're really saying. Bon means good and jour means day. So a lot of times my students will say, hey, I know a word in French. And they'll say, bonjour. And I'll say, hey, that's great, man. All right. But really, sometimes we're thinking in English rules. And we got to kind of change our rule book. All right, so let's look at this word, bonjour. Now, first of all, the B, yeah, just like English, the O, no problem. The N is where we're going to have a little bit of a challenge. Now, we did the alphabet a while ago. We said N, and that is the name of the letter. But as you know, when we put things into context of words, we don't say them always like the name of the letter. So in English, if we see the word B-A-B-Y, we don't say, oh, that's such a cute B-A-B-Y. We use it in context, baby. And so we don't say the name of the letters, we use the letters as they are in context. So same thing here. Although we did N, when we see the N in a word and it's in the middle, we've got to kind of do a different thing here. So we're going to take this N and we're going to push it through our nose. And our tongue is not even going to touch the top of our mouth where we make an N sound. We're not even going to touch the top of our mouth. We're going to do like this. We're going to say bon, bon. Push it through your nose. Bon. Okay, now the J, we already said the name of that letter. It does have that J sound. J. So we're going to say jou, and then we're going to push that R to the very back of our mouth. It's not that's English. We're going to push it back and say jour back here. Bonjour. bonjour, bonjour. Okay? Now, you can do those two things. The N in your nose and the R back here, you're going to start sounding just like a native speaker. That's going to be exciting. All right. Now, let's put up this next word. Bonsoir, bonsoir. All right. Once again, that N is right up here in our nose. And then we have an OI. When we see an OI together in French, it's going to have that OI sound. You ever heard anybody say, oh, voila, oh, voila. There it is. There you have it. This V-O-I-L-A. Voila. Same thing. Anytime OI, we got a wa sound. So this is bon soir. R in the back. Bonsoir. Bonsoir. So now we can say bonjour, bonsoir, just like a native speaker. Great. All right. Now, I'm going to show you some more about the end by saying good night or good evening. So let's look at this one. Bonne nuit. Bonne nuit. Now, I know what you're thinking right now. You're saying, you just told me the end's up here, but now you just said bonne. You're right. Guess what? When we have two ends together, the rules change and they go to n sound. So bonne, bonne, and then see this next word, the second word, starts with an N. So the N at the beginning is also going to be like our English N sound. Now you got a UI together. It's oui sound. Oui. All right. Now, one more thing about this phrase. We're covering a lot of pronunciation in these few phrases right here. The T at the end of the word. You're going to find in French, a lot of times, we're not going to say that last consonant. And you might say, well, why is it there? That's just the way it happened from Latin. So that's all we can say about it, but we can deal with it. It's no problem. That last T is going to be silent. So, bonne nuit. Bonne nuit. All right. So really quick, I just want to summarize some N rules. If you want to think about it in a different way, the N is a lot like it is in English, unless the N is by itself in the middle of the word, somewhere in the word, or even at the end of the word. If it's by itself, it's going to be in your nose. If it's to or at beginning, it's going to be like our N in English. So maybe that helps you kind of back up and put it into a different perspective. All right. So let's try these three words again, pronunciation-wise, just to kind of firm it up. So good morning. I want you to say bonjour, bonjour, and good afternoon or good evening, bonsoir, bonsoir, and good night, good evening, bonne nuit, bonne nuit. All right. Now, you might also hear, if you ever get to France, you'll hear a couple other greetings. Sometimes people will say it a little bit different way, but I don't want to throw too much at you at once. We'll get to those on a different episode. We'll talk about some other ways to greet people. Let's go to some other pronunciation words really quick. And I want to put up two words for you here that use the E. First of all, this word, J-E. J-E. This means I, if I'm going to say, I am a teacher, or I like ice cream, whatever. It's this word. Now remember that J has a J sound, all right? A J sound. But the E at the end, remember how we said that a while ago in the alphabet? We said So guess what this sounds like? You probably already got it figured out. It's je, je. That means I. And so we're not going to say j'ai or J. We're going to say je, je. When my daughter was really little and I was teaching her French, that was her first word. She said je. And this word de, de means of or from. You can probably already guess. It's de. It's not de like Spanish or de like we might think in English. It's de. So let's try these one more time. Je, de. One more time. Je, de. All right. You'll start seeing these rules come up over and over as we're pronouncing more phrases and words, and you're going to go, oh, I got French pronunciation down. Okay, now let's look at some more words that kind of put this into context. This word, N-O-U-S, it means we. You're going to be learning this when we do the pronouns very soon. once again, consonant at the end of the word. So we're not going to say it, okay? So say nous. Nous. The OU sound is oo, and no pronunciation of the S, so nous. All right? Now this one, almost the same word, but it's V-O-U-S. Now this means you, plural. So everybody say vous, vous. Now also vous can be one person if you're showing respect. Okay, so you can say vous, talking to all of you, or I can say vous, speaking just to you if I want to show you respect. All right, now here comes a few challenging words to pronounce. And it might take you just a couple of times to get it, but you got this. All right, so first of all, this means girl, F-I-L-L-E. When you end a word in French with L-L-E, it's just kind of a sound. So F-I-L-L-E sounds like this, fille, fille. And you might say, that's a little bit strange from the way it looks. Yeah, you're right. We have the same thing in English. We do words like enough. Why do we spell it O-U-G-H? Nobody knows. But that's the way the pronunciation is. So, fille. All right. Now, this one means a sheet, as in a sheet of paper. F-E-U-I-L-L-E. And it's going to be feuille, feuille, feuille. Un feuille de papier, a piece of paper. Now this one looks a little challenging, but we got it. We got it. V-I-E-I-L-L-E. This means old. If you were saying a person, female, is older, you would say this word. And it's vieille, vieille. So that I at the beginning gives us a ye sound, vieille. All right? Now, at the last few minutes of our episode today, I want to give you some pronouns that I want you to be learning on your own in the near future as much as you can before the next time we see each other. I'm going to put these on a chart. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm one of those people that likes a visual organizer, something that can really help me put things into perspective, okay? So I'm going to draw a chart. Now, this chart is like this. It's one line down and it's two lines across. Now I teach this to my students all the time, and I get all the time comments about how much the chart has helped them. I had a student come recently and said, you know that chart you beat into our heads in class? He said, it helped me in Russian class. And I said, wow, that's great. But I've used it in Spanish, I've used it in French, I've used it in Dutch. It's great. But we're going to just kind of put our pronouns on this. So the first one is je, which we already learned. That means I. Now everything on this side is going to be singular, one person, okay? Now right here, we're going to put the word tu. Now again, we don't say tu, we say tu, tu. Kind of push it forward. All right. And that means you. If I'm talking to one person and I know that person, I'm familiar with that person. So it's a little informal. Now I'm going to put 3 right here in this bottom because why don't we put them together on the chart? Well, they use all the same stuff. That's a good way to put it. You're going to see what that means later. They like to use all the same stuff. So they kind of hang out together. All right, so we've got il. That means he. And we've got elle. That means she. And then this one, I'm not going to say it yet. I want you to try to say it first. Remember where that N is? On. On. There you go. You got it. Now, this means he, this means she, and this means one. Just someone in general. Something that's done by a person in general. Okay? Now, everybody on this side is going to be plural. So we're going to have more than one person in each one of these words. Now, we talked about this a while ago. You already know what it means. Nous. Okay, so you might notice that on our chart, the top one on each side, I should say, are both first person. They both involve me. So this is first person, second person, and here are the third person. All right, now we're going to go to second person plural, which is going to be talking directly to somebody, but they're plural. All right, so vous, we already talked about that pronunciation a while ago. That means you, plural, and it means you if I want to show respect. And we're only going to put 2 right here. we don't really have a plural of this that we use there very much because it's really the same concept. So you can probably guess this is going to be il. And you might be saying, wait, that sounds just like this. Right. And you probably know why, though. If you think about it, do we say that consonant at the end? We don't. So it's going to end up sounding just like this. You might say, well, how do we know the difference? If we're speaking French, how do we know the difference? You will know by context. You will. You'll understand by the context of the conversation and the verb that goes with it. So you're going to understand that. And you probably already guessed the plural of she is elle. Don't say that S. That's they if you're talking about just girls or women, females. That's the plural. And then that is all of our pronouns. Now I want to just take a moment to really, first of all, go over these and tell you about the importance of this chart. Let's just pronounce them one more time. There's je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, and elle. Now, how important is this chart? Let me tell you, it will help you in so many things in the future as we get into verbs, as we get into indirect object pronouns, direct object pronouns, all kinds of things. Reflexive, this chart's going to help you. So what I want you to do is really be working on it. You can call this homework, devoir, and really be working on memorizing these words, learning them so that they're really internalized, that you don't even have to think about them. You know them that well. And also where they are in the chart. Go ahead and imprint this chart in your brain. You just go ahead and put it there. And I do want to say, I get a lot of comments on YouTube with the Spanish show about people that say, that chart really helped me out. I get a lot of messages from people that say, thank you for the chart. It was great. So I encourage you to go ahead and use it as well. All right. I've given you a lot to work on today, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Parlons Francais.